Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand up.
Hello friends, and welcome again to another Street Fighter Duel video.
Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel, and this time we have a new boss, and this boss is a mini Hugo. It's not the big Hugo, it's a mini Hugo. It's the same as him, but mini size, so you can't deal a lot of damage. He has parry and dodge and stuff like that, so he's a little bit tricky, and he can dodge AoE areas. Like if you put some area under him, like with Fire Aid on the wall, he can go. Because he's so small, he stands in front of it, so he doesn't deal that much of damage, and we're gonna go and see that, and I'm gonna tell you the best optimal lineups. And I woke up, I saw my friend DRG, and big shout out to him using Dalsim, and Dalsim is one of my favorite characters, as you know, in the game, so I would highly recommend everybody to use him. I'll be showing you the lineups, I will show you damages that is done, and what's the best things to play, and hopefully if you have bigger investment on the units that I'm gonna show you, you'll deal even bigger and more damages. So let's go and check the damages here. So as you see, right now I'm in rank 2. I don't know, maybe they're not playing. Yeah, nobody is making so much effort, especially because you can still play Flame Chun. I'm gonna show you where you can use her and how you can use her, but it's a little bit tricky, so keep that in your mind. So here we are. These are the scores. So this is what I did. I did like 3 or 4 runs. And I got these scores, which is decent. It's not that bad. If you have bigger investment in your characters, you can get better damages. As you see, Dalsim, I'm using him with Gormagalakan. Now, if you have Evo Ryu, that would work. If you don't want to use Evo Ryu, you can use somebody else. You can use Abel or Suit Abel on this lineup. I will tell you why. So let me show you the lineups, actually, how they look here before we go. So I'm using Abel on my Rich Honda. Why? Because Abel will give him shields every now and then, and he will protect him from dying. So I use the super of Rich Honda, then I use C1 from Street Poison, C2 from Rich Honda, and C3 from Dalsim. The trick here in the team, and as you see, I'm using Fei Long because I want Fei Long on the team. If you want to use Abel, actually, you can use him on the main lineup, so he could protect your lineup, and he will protect himself with his C2. So you can use Super, C1, C2, then C3, and you can play here Flame Chun. You can play like this, and you can put Flame Chun, let's say, where is it? Let's say this is Chun-Li, this is Flame Chun. You can play Flame Chun here. And now, why would that help you on the lineup if you play Flame Chun on top of Dalsim? Because every time he does flame damage, he will do flame penetration on the boss. This will increase your damages scores on the boss and will allow you to maybe double the score that you have with Dalsim. Don't start with Dalsim Super, end with his C3. Now, we're not using his C1. You can start also by using Super, his C1, and waiting, and then using the C2 to accumulate stacks. But you can accumulate stacks by the lineup that I'm showing you. So let me go and put back what I was using, so it would be looking perfect. And I'm putting Fei Long on Dalsim because Dalsim will not die and Fei Long will stay as an assist for him until the battle ends, so you'll deal more for fire damage on the lineup. And we're using these EX moves. Now, you can use whatever EX move you want. I will highly recommend the Akuma one because it will get Dalsim more attack. I would highly suggest using a trendy Guile EX because it will give you high attack as well, and it will stack a lot longer than any other EX. And this EX, the Crimson Lotus, it will increase the fire damage by 12%. I think 12% for 6 seconds. So you might drop it while you're doing the C2 of Honda, and then you drop the C3 of the Dalsim C3, and you'll deal incredible amount of damage because it will be amplified. Now, of course, you can remove it and play the Breath of Rage or the Raging Eye, because of it will give you crit rate, and it will give you heavy hit rate, and it will give you attack bonus, and it will give you damage bonus, crit damage bonus, which is absolutely nice. You can play it as well as in this team, but I'm playing it on a different team because I want to maximize my team efforts and I want to get higher numbers. Now, my second team is the Visconti Vega team. Now, as you see, yes, I'm using here the Cammy and Vega EX. I'm gonna tell you why this is so important, especially for your run. I hope in the replay it shows that. So when you start with Cammy and Vega EX, you will start with Rose. Now you can go and replace Rose with Psychodan. With Psychodan, I broke 1 billion with this team, but I did badly on my Dalsim team. And with Rose, I almost reached 1 billion team, but the consistent lineup was dealing between 700 million and 800 million for me right now on this lineup. So I will be showing you also how does this work. So you get the Cammy and Vega EX, and as soon as it unlocks on Rose, you start with Rose, but slowly wait until the end of the C1 and then use it from Suit Able, until the end of the C2 of Rose, use it, and then until the end of the Visconti Vega C3, you use it. Why? Because it has a condition that it will reduce the damage by 99% for 10 seconds. So you need to wait for 10 seconds until the 10 seconds pass. So Visconti Vega with his C3 will deal massive damage with the hit he does, and he will inflict bleed. And bleed is a dot that will be on the boss, just like burn. This is why Dalsim is shining there, and just like him here, it's a range attack also that inflict bleed, and the bleed is until the end of the battle. You can stack it to 5 times. If you're lucky, he might hit it. You'll get 2 bleed on the boss, or 1 bleed if you're unlucky, or super unlucky, you're not gonna get anything. And this is what happened with me. I had to restart the run because this dot of bleed will help you a lot. And then the rotation, you can wait to 51 seconds and start the rotation, mashing your fingers, and start with Super from Visconti Vega, C1 from Suitable, C2 from Rose, or Psycho Dan, or anybody, Taos Gen. If Taos Gen can hit the hit, if he can't, you will whiff. His hit will mean nothing. I tried Taos Gen, maybe because he's not built for me, maybe I don't have the equipment on him, but he needs a lot of pressure, so the boss Hugo will not evade. But if you can land it, you will increase your damages with the C3 with Visconti Vega. So Wrestling Hugo the same, his C2 also does damage immunity reduction or damage reduction on the boss. So I'm playing Rose here because I'm free to play, and this is what I have for me. If you want to copy this lineup, it will land you in the top 10, top 50. It will get you good numbers. And of course, by the end of like the last 2 rotations, I drop the Raging Eye and I start going with Super, C1, C2, then C3 from Visconti Vega, and until the end of the battle. I'm using Summer Elena. Yeah, Summer Elena is super helpful in this lineup. Now, of course, you can use anybody else that you want. You can put on the main lineup somebody like Ivoryu. You can put on the main lineup somebody like Gormagala Ken, Summer Ubuki, anybody with trigger, and that would help you a little bit also on the lineup. Let me put Summer Elena here so you can check the last lineup. I'm using Yan on her because it will give me a little bit of combo meter when she drops and do a trigger, and I'm using Yang on my Visconti Vega because he will drop also and give me a little bit of combo meter. Of course, you can replace them, play whatever you wish for. If you have Diviner Rose built to +5, also she will give you combo meter, you can use her on Visconti Vega. If you have a trendy Dalsim to +5, also he will give you, by his assist, some combo meter if you use him on Visconti Vega, so keep that in mind. The third team and the third lineup, which is the second best one, or the third best one, it's the fourth actually, because the turtles sometimes do good, sometimes do bad. I will be talking about them. I use the C2 of Overlord Bison. Now, of course, Overlord Bison for me is S+. If it's SS or triple S for you with all of his shenanigans, you will deal insane amount of damage, and absolutely you will shred the boss, and he will help you with the numbers. Now, his C2 is key for the success of this team, and I'm using Elena here just for a fodder. You can use anybody else. Again, you can use anybody else in the attack position. Why I use Elena in the attack position? Because she gives you 100 combo meter at the start of the battle. So, and if you felt low on HP, you can use her Super C1 to heal your lineup actually and give them that one more rotation. You can use whoever assist that you want on Fashion Blanca. Anything that buffs his attack will be helpful. I'm using Akuma because he has a base attack of 71,000, which will help me a lot in the damages. I don't think anybody else has the same amount. Let me check here. Okay, you can use Fire Aidon actually on him as well because he increases the fire damage. If you're dealing flame damage, he will increase it for you. That would be awesome actually for the lineup as well. So again, you start with Viper, Super, C1 from Fashion Blanca, C2 from Overlord Bison, because it reduces the damage reduction on the boss as well, even if he's not built. Even one copy of him does the job. Then C3 with Viper. You need to pay attention. You will be by the back of the wall, by the back of the end of the map, but it doesn't matter. Keep smashing, and whenever you feel like the boss is gonna hit you, delay the C3 of Viper, so Bison will take the hit from the boss and then do her C3, so he would not one-shot her, and this is why we go with this until the end of the battle. My fourth lineup and the last lineup, it's the TMNT. They work. Raphael and Leonardo deal a little bit of damage with Action Guy actually helping, because Raphael is not built for me, he's not dealing a lot of amount of damage, and his C1 Donatello will give you Turtle Reason, will help you with the team, and of course use the Pizza, use the other EX move, the Mad Reason for the TMNT, and I'm using the one with the Rich Honda because it reduces damage reduction as well, so we can do a lot of damages. So Super, C1, C2, then C3, and this is how you will complete your high scores. Let's go and check the replays and check how much damages did we do. Actually, here we go, Hugo. Here we go, this is Hugo, and this is the first lineup, and let me show you how we go with it. So, at the start of the battle, I start with Rich Honda, but I wait a little bit, then I start with Rich Honda, so I can accumulate the 5 stacks on Dhalsim, then I drop the C1 from Street Poison, the C2, and then I drop the EX move, and then the C3 from Dhalsim. So the EX move of Akuma will be triggering the Dhalsim 1, and it will give us the buffs on him because he's dealing damages to the boss. And this lineup will not be empty of combo meter. You can always use combo meter, and as you see, I use the super and wait a little bit, the C1, wait a little bit, the C2, wait a little bit, and then the C3 of Dhalsim. And I wait for Dhalsim to stand on his leg. As you see here, he stands, then I start the combo. Because you want him to get the full 5 stacks from his Yoga Tower when he stands on his Yoga Tower, and as you do this rotation. Now, of course, sometimes you whiff, sometimes you'd miss. I got high stacks on him, sometimes I didn't get high stacks, but it will help you a lot. And whenever you want, use the Crimson Lotus EX to buff your fire damage when you do with the C3 of Dhalsim. And this is how we go by this until the end of the battle. By the end, you'll have like 2 back-to-back combo meters, so use them back-to-back with Dhalsim. He will not lose his stacks if you went back-to-back by the end of the battle, because it will have no time for you to not accumulate if you done that. And again, we had the EX again, and we did our super C1, C2, C3, and then I started with him again and did all the combo fast again, so I can deal as much damages as I can. And this is it, almost 1 billion damage, which is absolutely... And I started with Dhalsim. I should have started with Rich Honda, actually, because he does a crit damage higher than him, which is actually great. 977 million, which 1 billion almost, and you can do even better with this lineup. Now the second one, which is Visconti Vega, let me fast forward it until I got the EX move. So I forward it, I get the EX move of Cammy and Vega, and I drop it and I use it on Rose. Then Rose, look at the boss bar up there. He doesn't have anything, so I start with her. And then slowly the C1 of Suit Abel. Then slowly the C2 of Rose. Then slowly the C3 of Visconti Vega for the 10 seconds to pass. And the boss got 2 stacks of bleed on top of his head, which is absolutely fantastic. It will give me a lot of advantage and it will give me damages as the battle goes. So let's go ×4 and let's check this out. So we start by 51 seconds, I drop the EX and I continue dealing damages to the boss, as you see here, Visconti Vega. And then when I see that Summer Elena gave me like the 5 stacks that I want until the end of the battle by the damage, which is on top of Visconti Vega, there is 5 fist, looks like there's a fist icon that has 5 stacks on it. It means I got the 5 buffs from her plus 30, so I can go ham on the boss and use the Raging Eye EX so I can get more crit rate and crit damage and absolutely get the numbers up. And this is how we got our numbers high enough so we can deal a lot of damage, and it's almost 800 million, so you can go to 1 billion with this lineup. It's not that crazy, it's not like bad or stupidly unachievable. It is achievable. And by the end I clicked his super again and the battle ended, but this counts actually if you do it. So the third lineup, which is the Viper. I like this lineup with Viper. Actually, look at Visconti, at Overlord Bison. He's dealing good amount of damages, actually the same as Fashion Blanca, with the Fashion Blanca only using his C2, his C1. Why do I need his C1? Because he will give me Wildfire on my Viper, on my Overlord Bison, and on himself, so he will buff us even more. And here we go. So we wait until we get to 51 seconds, and of course I drop the drones. I have the drones EX immediately there. And so it will give us more combo meters, so we can go and start the battle with an advantage, and we can keep going until the end of the battle. So here we go, we wait until the 51 seconds, I guess. And then I drop the EX, I start with Viper, Fashion Blanca, C2 from Overlord Bison, then Crimson Viper or Sea Viper with her C3. And I keep mashing, but I pay attention. I don't want Viper to stay in the front line, so here she went to the back line, and Overlord Bison is the one to take the damage. So I wanted to use his C2, but I couldn't, so I used the C2 of Elena. This is why Elena is important in this lineup as well. You can, if you whiff any kind of attack, you have a C1 and C2 from her as well. And this is how the battle goes. Super from Viper, C1 from Fashion Blanca, C2 from Overlord Bison, then C3 from Viper again. And this is good amount of damages actually. The 500 million mark actually is good. So Fashion Blanca died, Super from Viper, C1 from Elena, C2 from Overlord Bison, and then C3 from Viper again. You can reach the 600, 700 probably with this lineup as well, depending on the RNG also. So RNG is a big factor in this game as well. And the last lineup, which is the turtles, I didn't do the greatest here. Many runs I hit the 700, 800 million, and you can do that because Leonardo now is SSS with me plus 30, 6 out of 6, which is incredible. But you need a little bit of RNG so you can get the crit rate, crit damage, and you can hit actually the boss because he evades a lot. And here we go. I also wait for the 53 or 51 seconds, something like that. And I drop the Pizza EX immediately from the start of the battle. Then whenever I want to start the battle, I drop the second EX of the turtles, which is the reason, and I do as much damages as possible. And here we go. We start at 53 with dropping the EX, C1 from Donatello, C2 from Action Guy, and then C3 from Leonardo again. And as you see, we whiff a lot of attacks. This is the problem with this boss. This is why he's a little bit harder. But with RNG, again, with your luck, and you can pick, if you want, some pressure from your workbench. You can add a gem that has 12% extra pressure. So you can have 12% chance more to hit the boss without him dodging. But I didn't find it that good because nothing says that he increases his dodge. It's only hard to hit, what they say, which means dodge, I think, or parry maybe. But it doesn't say parry, it says evade. And when it says evade, I mean, I think it's kinda dodge. And this is how we went through the fight until the end of the battle. I don't think anybody died here, so I start with a super by the end, and then a C1, and that's it. Yep, that was good amount of damage by the end of the battle, which is really, really great. And yeah, that's how much damage did we do, and this is how we ranked a little bit high on the scoreboard, which is good actually. And of course, when you work with the workbench and improve it more and more, you're gonna have a little bit better scores. So I have this abnormal gem 2, which is upgrade the trigger skill. You gain sword intent every 6 seconds. It has a trigger, and here upon unleashing a trigger you get a scar on the enemy, which reduces the damage reduction, which is really good every 6 seconds. I have crit damage 24%, bonus damage 6%, bonus damage 6% as well, and then attack bonus by 6%, which are the most important for me. Of course, you can take crit rate, you can take pressure, you can take healing, you can take whatever you want, but this is what worked for me. If it works for me, it might work for you, or it will work for you. And let me know how your teams go. Let me know if you're using Mummy Dhalsim, because I tried Mummy Dhalsim, I got great scores with him. If I break this score by massive amount because of Mummy Dhalsim, I will share another video. And yeah, that was it for the video.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, we thank you for watching. And as always, stay frosty. Peace.
Time to fight, time to fight.